Quiero que vengas. Espero que tengas tiempo. Es posible que llueva. Me alegra que estés aquí. Different meanings, different situations, different emotions. So why do all of this use a subjunctive? What do they have in common? Amigas y amigos, welcome back. This is Profe Juan, and by the end of this video, you'll understand what subjunctive triggers are, the most common triggers you'll hear every day, and how to recognize when the subjunctive is probably coming next, okay? And as I always tell you, not complicated grammar, just how Spanish actually works. Before we start, quick recommendation. If you're still wondering what that is a subjunctive or why does Spanish even have different moods, watch our video, the 4 moods in Spanish, after this lesson. Today, we're focusing on something much more practical. How to recognize the situations that commonly trigger the subjunctive, okay? So let me remind you first. Many learners try to memorize giant lists. 20 triggers, 30 triggers, 50 triggers. You don't need that. Small group of expressions appears again and again in real Spanish, and once you recognize them, the subjunctive become much easier to spot. Let me illustrate the main idea here. Certain expressions naturally lead into the subjunctive. These are called subjunctive triggers. The trigger doesn't magically create the subjunctive. It creates a situation where Spanish expects it. And a handful of triggers account for a huge percentage of the subjunctive you'll hear in real conversations. That means that in real life, you're basically gonna have just a couple triggers that are used 80 or 90% of the time. So that's fantastic, right? So let's start with the most common one. Let's talk about desire. Look at this. Quiero que vengas. I want you to come. The speaker wants something to happen. That's why the subjunctive appears. Okay? Obviously here we're using the verb querer. Yo quiero, in this case, conjugated in the simple present for the first person. Yo quiero, you know that, right? But let me give you more examples. Yo prefiero que llegues temprano. I prefer that you arrive early. And again, this is something the speaker, or in this case, I want, I prefer, right? This is my desire. In this case, I'm gonna use the verb preferir, okay? Conjugating the first person. Let's move on. Necesito que me ayudes. This, again, this is my desire, this is my wish. I need you to help me. Yo necesito que me ayudes. Another one. Yo quiero que estudies más. Again, the verb querer. You know, this is gonna be a classic subjunctive trigger, especially this verb. I want you to study more. Notice the pattern. The speaker is trying to influence another action. This is one of the biggest subjunctive triggers in Spanish. And again, the verb querer, hey, it's a no-brainer. It's always there. But the subjunctive isn't only about what we want. Sometimes it's about what we hope. And that's the next use case, when we are hoping. And look at this. Espero que tengas tiempo. I hope you have time. The speaker doesn't know if this will happen. The speaker is hoping, right? And this word, espero, yo espero que, from the verb esperar, is magic, pure magic for the subjunctive, okay? But let me give you another one. Espero que, trigger, estés bien. Estés, subjunctive in the present, bien, and the whole meaning is, I hope you're doing well. Ojalá que funcione. And ojalá is one very popular word that is basically, I hope, hopefully it works. I hope it works. Ojalá que funcione. Ojalá que no llueva. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Hope is one of the most common subjunctive environments you'll hear. Now let's move from hope to possibility. So we have desired, hope, possibility. And look at this. Es posible que llueva. It's possible that it rains. It's not certain. It's not something I want. It's just possible. So we have es posible. Let me give you more examples. Puede que llegue tarde. He might arrive late. Es probable que venga. He'll probably come. Es posible que, it's possible that, es posible que tengan razón. It's possible that they're right. You know, when you don't want to, you don't want your wife or your husband, like, he's right. No, maybe. Es posible, right? Whenever Spanish presents something as a possibility, the subjunctive often follows. And now, one of the most important categories, doubt. And when we talk about doubt, we have examples like this one. Dudo, from the verb dudar, dudo que venga. Yo dudo que venga. I doubt that he's coming. The speaker isn't presenting the idea as certain. It's not a desire either. It's not even a possibility. Well, it's something that possible won't happen. So if you try to link this, possible, right? No creo que sea verdad. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. Fantastic. No pienso que funcione. I don't think it will work. No pienso que funcione. In this case, we use two different verbs. Creer and pensar to express the same thing, right? Like, my opinion is that it's not gonna work. Yeah, my opinion is that it's not true. It's not likely true. Dudo que tengan tiempo. I doubt they have time. And these expressions appear constantly in conversations and they frequently trigger the subjunctive. But here's something that surprises many learners. Sometimes emotion triggers the subjunctive too. And I would say subjunctive is pure emotion. Look at this. Me alegra que estés aquí. Me alegra que estés aquí. I'm happy you're here. But maybe you're not happy, you're worried. Me preocupa que no tenga tiempo. I'm worried that he doesn't have the time. Me gusta que estudies español. I like that you study Spanish. Me encanta. You know, we are using affective verb here too, right? We connected. And if you miss our previous video about affective verbs, go watch it because it's fantastic. Me encanta, I love, que quieras aprender, that you want to learn. The speaker is reacting emotionally to the action. That's why the subjunctive often appears. I would say subjunctive is pure emotion. Yeah? We're very dramatic. You know, we like telenovelas, so it's part of it. The triggers you'll hear constantly, so let's talk about this. If you're starting with a subjunctive, focus on this. You know, I mentioned the verb querer. Yo quiero que, for something that you really want. But we have the other use case, hoping, espero que, ojalá que, possibility, es posible que, puede que. When you hesitate, dudo que, no creo que. With a lot of emotion, me alegra que, me preocupa que. And if you learn this, you'll recognize a huge percentage of subjunctive sentences in real Spanish. But now it's your turn. Write one sentence using a subjunctive trigger. Any trigger works. Of course, the ones we worked with today. Or if you have your own trigger, hey, send it. You can say something like, espero que tengas un buen día, es posible que llueva mañana, or, you know, you can be creative. One sentence is more than enough. I'll make sure I'll correct it, okay? And if you want to understand why Spanish has moods in the first place, watch our video, The 4 Moods in Spanish, right next, okay? That's where the whole system starts making sense. If this helped you understand subjunctive triggers, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Ciao, ciao.